decent rally this week.
Yay! Finally. It's been far more exciting than Jolly Gold, hasn't it? That's for sure. But what we did talk about last week, Paul, was she was sitting up here and we said, wait for the pullback. I was expecting that we would see a bit of a retracement because that's typically the way oil will move. And lo and behold, we got a nice little pullback, 3 bars. Excuse me, 3 bars. Beautiful bounce off the 50 EMA here on the daily chart, followed by a ring low and then an entry for you to go long. Down here on the 4 hourly, if you drill down a little bit further, a safe place would have been just above the weekly pivot, or again here you have another retest. Oil tends to do this. It loves a nice little retest before it takes off. Fundamentally, where we're looking at now, we have one of the reasons we've got this continued push up is continued disruptions to the supply side. It's not necessarily the demand side, it's definitely the supply side. So we still have a few issues with Hurricane Ida. There, when it went through the Gulf of Mexico, you had something at around 90% of supply interrupted. So that all still hasn't come online. Add in Canada's oil export to its largest customer, i.e. the US, and it's had a few issues as well. So all of that, they've bitten into the supply chain, or into the stocks. They have gone down a lot further than expected. OPEC is playing ball. OPEC plus countries are all playing ball and playing nicely and sticking to the regulations, and that's all good and fine and well. And given that the northern hemisphere is going into that chillier time of the year, and look, climate change and global warming aside, if it is a lot colder than we expected, I will see not only, again, once we've hit this level of resistance up here, which we have done neatly, we've had a small little pullback on Saturday morning my time, Friday night close of New York time. Hey, is it unusual to see a bit more of again a small pullback before we keep going? Will we see 75 up to 80 in this next coming week? Yes, I think we will. And that's where I'm looking for with oil, Paul. A bit of a pullback and then a push upwards. I'd like to see the triple digits though, although I think that will play havoc with opening economies and recovering economies and those things that have long wingspans. That'll
be recent highs in the picture, Ainslie.
Yeah, so the recent high was up here, where actually closed, was up around 76. It did get to 77. Oh, and Geoff and I have this little, he predicted 77 and it didn't quite got there. It got to 76.94.
Oh, Geoffrey. Come on, Geoffrey.
I know. He did refer to an anatomy of a bee distance being involved. But yeah, so that's where we're looking for. It's going to come up and retest this level once it gets on its legs. And let's see if we get to, and once we've broken that, I don't want to end up with it is quite possible, a double top situation. But, you know, if we break that level in through there, I think we're off to the races.
Yeah, that 95 starts to come into 93, 95 stuff starts to come into the picture pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yep, pretty quickly. You look at these supply. I mean, and that's the thing, when you have a hurricane go through and totally disrupt these big oil rigs, they're not going to just come back online because maintenance guy went out there and a few things are fixed. It's like it takes a couple of months to get these guys back at these big rigs and or anything that's been destroyed back online. So it's not a quick, and it's the same like, you know, oh, there's an oversupply, we'll just go turn it off the rig. That can't happen either. So yeah, 76, here we come, and then we get a break at that 76 level, onwards and upwards, and a cold winter.
Let's hope for it, eh?
Cold winter as well.
Yep, a cold. We are wishing the Europeans a cold winter, and we have a warm summer down here. I'm okay with that. I mean, a warm summer in New Zealand is no better than a warm summer in Sydney. I've got a feeling, and a warm summer in New Zealand is 23, 24 degrees. You go back in the 40s if you get a hot summer.
Well, we do warm. We do warm.
Yeah, Bondi even crazier. Cheers, everybody. Thank you much for that. Ainsley, always good to have a look at the gold and oil perspectives from you, and some quite optimistic news there from mine. Quite looking forward to having a look at those on Monday.